It's 1:45, who knows when? Your books are open and you've been trying to read the notes and review the slides that your lecturer gave you that day. You read a line. You think, wait, what did that say? You read it again. It's not going in. You've been in this seat for the past 2 hours and all you know is that this section is not going into your brain. How on earth do you get these words and these concepts into this head? If some topics don't light you up like the Boks on a Saturday night, I think today's episode may come in handy. Third-year CA trainee at VAT IT and co-founder of Apti, the tool connecting students to their dream articles, Luke Tollman, explores with me the learning strategies to make your studies matter through bringing your books to life. We also chat about why entrepreneurship is the ultimate form of self-improvement, time value of knowledge, how to maximize your growth in your articles, the value of networking in your university class, some more networking secrets, and more. I hope you enjoy. What's up, travelers? First one. The show is gaining traction and we are only going up from here. You guys need to sponsor me one of those live boards. That could be really valuable. I hope you are loving the content and loving the guests. Speaking of guests, I'm still curious. What guest would you like to hear from? I've heard from many of you saying you'd like to hear the perspective of lecturers, which I have in the works. But who else would you like to hear from? Let me know in the Google form linked in the show notes. With that, on to the episode. Welcome back, my people. This is the Road to CA podcast, the show for aspiring chartered accountants to inform, empower, and inspire the difference makers of tomorrow. Today, we're joined by a man of action. A lot of us aspiring CAs, I would brand us as entrepreneurs. We aspire. Today, we have an entrepreneur on our hands. He has a passion for innovation and entrepreneurship and loves finding opportunities to give value away for free to students, having started and ran a number of student-focused ventures. One of them being Apti, a service which assists students in making the leap from student to young professional and young professional to the coveted CASA. We will definitely be chatting about that. Having completed his Bachelor of Accounting and PG DAS at Stellenbosch University, he is also like you, and he is an aspiring CA. He's soon to be signing off, hopefully as a CA. He's now doing his articles at VAT IT, and he's a founder, he's a friend, he's just a guy I really, really like. We're joined by Luke Tollman. Luke, how are you, man?
Luke, I'm good. Thank you, bro. Thanks for having me here today. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm really, really proud and pumped of what you're doing, and just excited to be included in the initiative.
Thank you, brother. And I know you've been acting, and that's why I'm so excited, because there's so many stories, so many experiences that a lot of aspiring CAs can benefit from, man. So many aspiring entrepreneurs, I think, particularly.
Absolutely. Well, I think the thing that makes the entrepreneurs is the tenaciousness to act. And I think you're inspiring many to do that. So I think, once again, thanks for having me here. Really excited.
Thank you, man. And just to preface the whole entrepreneurship thing, I think an idea comes to mind. This one internet entrepreneur, his name's Andrew Kirby. It was such a crazy idea. It was like a moment for me, mind blown. But he said that entrepreneurship is the ultimate self-improvement. So when you think about like self-improvement, YouTube, you go into the internet and you find out guys meditating and journaling and doing all those self-improvement things, wake up at 5, blah, 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 blah.
I've heard so much of that. My New Year's resolutions are still stacked at the 5 a.m. club. I'm not reading that just yet.
You see, entrepreneurship is the way that self-improvement is fully realized, because he says it kind of changed for him because he was doing the self-improvement thing and it just wasn't working. His life wasn't getting better. He'd watch all these YouTube videos, but nothing changed. Self-improvement is just about solving your own problems. To improve yourself, you solve your own problems. If you have a problem with your sleep, you start sleeping regularly. That's a act of self-improvement. If you have a problem with being grateful and maximizing your life, maybe you'll do the gratitude journaling thing. But like, it's about what are the problems you have, and then you solve for those. Entrepreneurship is solving problems. And so the moment that you actually get into entrepreneurship and you haven't started to solve your own problems, best believe you're not going to solve others.
That's an amazing way to look at it. I'd never looked at it like that. I think I've still got thousands of problems to solve on my side. But yeah, I think for me, it's all about just getting caught up in the idea of who you're trying to help and how can you help them. Mm-hmm. And I think having that empathy to look to the other takes away from the problem that comes with ego. Mm. I think so many want to become the entrepreneur because of how nice it sounds.
Yeah.
I'm a business leader.
I'm a founder.
It's not about that. It's about doing something you care about that's a genuine pain point of others. And it's so much easier to be genuine in doing that when you found that pain point yourself. And I think that's kind of been my philosophy in business so far, is solve a problem that I know is a problem because it's one I've experienced.
That's self-improvement. You had the problem. Let me solve it for others.
Absolutely.
That's the birth of the best businesses. Okay, Luke, let's go back. Let's rewind. Back to where this whole chartered accountancy thing began. I know for you it's different.
Absolutely.
Similar to me, I'd say, but let's go back. Where did it all start?
Well, if I had to tell you the full story, I went to a career psychologist and had no idea what I wanted to do, what I wanted to study, who I wanted to be, if I'm being frank. And pretty much got the standard, well, you're a clever guy, you can do medicine, you could do engineering or accounting. Mm-hmm. And off the bat, I thought, okay, well, engineering sounds great. And went and did an internship. I nearly got electrocuted and had to experience seeing some amputated body parts to realize that wasn't the career path for me. And then had quite a good frank chat with my parents where I said, listen, guys, I don't know what to do. And got the feedback of, well, you love business, just go do the CA thing. It's a good launch pad into that. So from the get-go, I kind of knew I never actually wanted to be your traditional accountant. It was always just a means to an end, if you will. I didn't do accounting in school. In fact, I hated accounting in school. I hated accounting at varsity. I pretty much still don't know how deferred tax works. But yeah, I really loved the principles and the foundation it gave me. I think the goal was to be in business, but being able to understand all parts of the business, whether it be the taxes that you got to submit, your company registration and compliance requirements, your budgeting and how to kind of do performance reviews. And that's really why I decided to go the CA route, is to give that kind of holistic understanding. And I think the articles path I then picked subsequently really then kind of rounded me out in a business sense, and gave me the tools to hopefully succeed in the world of business, which is, where I'm trying to now, is in the trying part.
Yeah. You said in a quote, you didn't know who you wanted to be. And I think it raises the idea that Jordan B. Peterson, he's a psychologist, big on social media as well. And he said that basically what you do is sort of like who you are. And it was a very interesting idea because most of us go to university, we pay the tuition to rent an identity. And it's so that you can brand yourself as a student, so that you can brand yourself as something, because we're all like pretty lost. You come into life not really knowing who you are. And so you pay this tuition to have something to say. Like when you go to a function, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm a student. Oh, what do you do? I'm an engineer, I'm a lawyer, I'm an accountant, etc., etc. Now you've been doing stuff. Who would you say you are now?
I think that's such a profound thought to pull. I definitely didn't mean to be that deep. I don't think I have the capacity to be.
I get deep.
I love it.
It's just you've now experienced stuff. I feel like there is something that's
there.
there.
Absolutely. I think, not to be cliche, but I think we all actually are travelers on the road to somewhere, whether it's CA for now or engineer or entrepreneur. I think we're all just still trying to figure out who we are, who I am. I think still becoming clearer to me as I grow up. I think things like family are starting to become more and more important. My time at the bar with friends is starting to slow down a bit. And yeah, just trying to, I think, be a better person is currently where I'm at. And I think, through business, if I can kind of keep that in mind and build a business that's actually socially responsible and free, it's a nice way to kind of think of yourself as someone who's actually doing good in the world, where most businesses are, what's your bottom line, what's your profit? For us, we're cognizant of those kind of things, but we also ask the questions of, well, how many students have we helped, which means a lot more to us.
Entrepreneurship is such a fulfilling, purpose-driven. Like, if you really assume the spirit of it, as you said in the beginning, like, it's about focusing on others' problems. Like, you make money solving others' problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think to the money point, I think where I went wrong with Unlock in the past was selling it solely on how to help. But you forget that you have to stop helping if you can't keep the lights on.
Yeah.
If your business isn't making money and you're not growing quick enough, that ability to help ends. And I think that's where maturity in entrepreneurship comes in, is that you've got to be cognizant of the financial health metrics of your company enough so to be able to continue to help and help on a bigger scale, which is our kind of vision.
It's the triple bottom line. It's finance, social, and environmental. Not just social and environmental.
That's it.
And if you miss that bottom line, which is what we get through the CA, we start to understand, okay, there is a bottom line. If you miss it, you're not sustainable.
Absolutely. And it's so funny you said that. I remember sitting in corporate law and this came up and I thought, this is the most boring thing in the whole world. Who could be passionate about this? And the lecturer had done it probably 10 years in a row and came to the lecture with vigor and excitement. And I sat there going, I would rather kill myself than listen to this again. This is terrible. But it's so important. And I think as a student, that naivety starts to fade. And you start to recognize that if it's deferred tax or corporate social responsibility, it all actually matters to you in your journey on really anything.
Yeah.
Wherever you're traveling to be, all these lessons start to add up and stack into growing you into the person that you one day hope to become.
And these terms and these concepts, especially in school, like they're all just words. When you experience things, the words start to have weight. Like the triple bottom line, when I learned it back in first year or whenever I did, it meant nothing. But now I'm starting to see, oh damn, like when I see businesses like yours and I'm having conversations like these, the triple bottom line means something.
That's it. And I think as a non-accountant who somehow managed to pass university and pass my boards, I think if I can give a trick, my secret weapon, if you will, for surviving, it was apply everything you learn and apply it to a real business that you somewhat know. For me, it was the coffee shop that I'd get my coffees from outside the library. It was the tutoring company I ran. It was friends of families, companies that I'd experienced and seen. Anywhere where I could draw a real example would just make these theoretical, boring concepts baked into your textbooks come to life.
Sure.
And I think then it's so much easier to understand, oh, well, performance evaluation, well, how are you going to retain your best people? How are you going to grow your company if you don't understand how to keep things goal congruent and you don't understand why that actually matters?
Yeah.
But when it's practical and it's real, like you're saying, it stands up off the page and it's something that's, you won't just remember for your test in 2 days. You'll remember 5 years, 10 years down the line.
It appreciates because
Exactly.
it sticks. When it sticks, when it's not just memorizing it, it sticks. And the things that stick, they actually become more valuable over time. Time value of knowledge, I think.
Well, okay.
You know, like-
that's really big.
The books I read in first year, I'm utilizing today.
Amazing.
Like in the podcast, I remember I read In fact, I didn't even read it because I didn't have the money. I got an Audible subscription from Amazon. So I was a student, I didn't have money, but I saw there was like 3 months free Audible. I was like,
We are the same guy. I did the same thing. Those 3 months came, I had 3 books, end of that.
And I milked those 3 books. I actually wrote notes on the specific book that like changed my whole life. It's
What
still
was
changing
it?
my life.
You have to tell me.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
I love it. I did the course. It was one of the best things I did in high school.
Did that in 2015. Like a public speak. I saw it on your LinkedIn. I just remember seeing it on your LinkedIn.
Please don't go on there too long. Yeah. I think so. It sounds about right. Jeez, I'm getting old. That's 10 years ago. Oh my God. Scary. Yeah. My dad was back in, I think, grade 10 or grade 9 in school. Around about there, yeah.
And like these things, like a book for me, it's changing my life today. The value has only compounded since.
Absolutely.
And it's the same with the stuff we're learning in school. Like when you apply yourself, and I wanted to get to this idea, we're not essentially, when we become chartered accountants or we become value creators, we're not being paid for our knowledge. We're being paid for our ability to apply the knowledge.
Absolutely.
And so if you're not learning how to apply while you are training, while you are studying, you're not learning how to be valuable.
Exactly. And I think even during something as mundane as an audit, I've seen such differences in growth by the way people treat it. So practically, maybe to give you an example of how I've tried to do this, when I joined VAT IT as a psycho trainee, my first 6 months were spent in recruitment. And I think the context of things being, I'm this big shot, soon to be CA, I'm going to be a financial leader, I'm going to be a business leader, and now I'm sifting through CVs. How on earth did I get here? How did this happen? And I think in context of things, that has played an unbelievable hand in the creation of Apti. And I think it's because of the attitude of, well, I'm in this situation now, how can I win? How can I turn this, what would be tough situation, into an opportunity? And I think it's just that mindset of, if you're on an audit and it's in the mines and you don't even want to work in mining, but you're there, how can you craft it into a win? How can you apply it? What can you take away? What are the learning opportunities? It's just that changed outlook on life that I think separate the long-term winners from the long-term losers.
I think we can even look at it from school, not just even in training. I think and this is what I realized I was taking for granted. The spaces we're in are not small spaces. I was even having a conversation the other day with one of my classmates. He was saying, wow, man, I really love the podcast. It's super valuable. And I was like, oh, okay, great, man.
It really is. It really, really is.
Thank you. And I asked him, okay, what value are you getting? He said, like, yeah, man, I just love that you're talking to everyday people and you're showing us that perspective of everyday people. I beg to differ, Chief. Everyday people. So I even see this being in this space as such a valuable opportunity to tap the person next to you on the shoulder. Hey, man, where are you from? You'll find that the stories, one, are so inspiring, but two, there's actually a lot to relate to. And so these are connections that we can build just from tapping the person, finding out about them. Now you are friends with a future CFO. Like, that is your class. That is your class, the one that you are sitting in right now. The person in front of you, the person behind you, the person right next to you, they are going to be adding value to the world. Imagine if we could grasp that. And that's just one angle of the value you have in varsity.
Absolutely. I think from us, practically, half of the firms we're working with now to try and get the future stars of their company in, those relationships started by asking a trainee that I'd played a game of action cricket with or knew at varsity. And it's such a testament to the fact that when you're young, I don't think you quite realize how important your network is. And that whole saying of your network is your net worth, yada, yada, yada.
Cliche.
Straight over your head, you hate it. I remember I was like, this is rubbish. Like, I can do it on my own. I'm a one-man team, one-man show. Like, it's fine. Immediately you realize how wrong you are. And when you're in the struggle of trying to grow something or even just trying to succeed at a role, using others to their benefit and to your benefit is is really such an easy win. And it's like you make them look great by offering a service that's actually valuable to them. And I think for you, it gets you a jump start. So yeah, tap that guy on the shoulder and ask them what their career ambitions are. Where do they want to work? Who do they want to be? Maybe you'll see an opportunity to kind of collaborate.
On the networking thing, I think we can even go here. Obviously, you know a lot about this because you've been in this business. You know, your network is your net worth. But I think this is a powerful idea that I was chatting with my brother the other day about. But as I'm starting to understand this whole networking thing, so obviously, I think maybe this is curse of knowledge. This is not obvious. But firstly, networking is about adding value to others. I think that's like the base. Can you add value to the people around you? That's the first thing. But then when we get into, you know, the idea of it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. You know that's another cliche.
We're loving them today.
Oh, we're loving them cliches. But I'm actually gonna take that cliche and make it. I think there's a whole side that's missing to the cliche. So yes, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. But even further, it's about who knows you.
Wow.
And if
that's great.
If you can, the whole idea of giving value is so that you can improve your reputation, your brand. And we can get into personal branding with this. I think that's a whole other side that's missing because we don't understand that when we're networking, it's not about the connections that you're making. It's about the value that you're giving. That's the thing. And if you can give more value to more people around you, that's more people seeing you as someone who's valuable.
Absolutely.
You're growing your network.
Absolutely. Someone said to me the term, you're likable.
And
I didn't understand. I was like, thank you, I guess. Is that an insult or who isn't likable? But I think it's more actually a chore of being likable. And I think that what you're saying, Lungo, like of giving value is a way of making yourself likable. But using the principles in Dale Carnegie offers you 5 other tools. Remembering someone's name, just being kind, like really like the core fundamental principles. You forget that really in everything in life, just being a likable guy opens the door to opportunity. And if there's then a fit, that opportunity can be realized.
And on that likable thing, I think there's a base of it. I forgot where I read this, but basically there's nothing in ways more charming than being useful.
Useful, exactly.
There's nothing more charming than being someone who's valuable to others. I think, and that's the spaces we're in. We're in the space of becoming valuable. You know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Look, I haven't even gotten into the questions, man. This is fire, though. Okay. I wanted to know. Now that you're a founder, and you've obviously been doing your articles as well, learning more about business. How has business changed you? Because I think on that point that I mentioned earlier about self-improvement, you've had to improve yourself and you've had to improve your business over time because now it's still surviving. In fact, it's thriving, it's growing. How has business changed you?
I think put simply, it's
to be continued in part 2. See you next week.